silver, and other precious metals to benefit from a boom in artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence anyway? Well, I got to be honest with you guys. It's something that's fascinated me for years. It's become very popular in the last year or so. I'll tell you what artificial intelligence is and why you don't really have to be afraid of it, but also why it could mean good news for the silver price and the gold price and the platinum price and the palladium price. But wait, there's more, even more of the precious metals, because this boom in artificial intelligence is going to require some very advanced circuitry. And we're going to get into that briefly in this video because it does impact the silver price and the gold price. And we are learning about this from a prestigious news organization. These are not random thoughts that I'm dreaming up in my head. No, we have information from Reuters. And when Reuters is talking about a big benefit for the silver market and the gold market because of this artificial intelligence boom, we're going to perk up and pay attention. And I've not heard anybody else talking about this. So let's dig in. Let's get digging in right now. I appreciate you guys joining me on a Saturday night at dinner time of all times. I hope I'm not interrupting your dinner, and I really hope for the benefit of your family that you don't have this playing in the background while you're trying to enjoy your evening meal. Hello, Coin Shop Chris. Hello, all the basement dwellers. Look, guys, when we're here in the basement, we're basement dwellers. That's what I like to refer to us as, and I know a lot of you do as well. We love to talk about the precious metals, and the community is great. It's rapidly expanding. We've got just more and more people joining us on live streams and on the videos, and I really appreciate that because we love to talk about the metals. Now let's dive in to what Reuters has to say about what's going on with artificial intelligence and silver and gold. It says, the artificial intelligence boom could support industrial demand for precious metals next year, although high interest rates, they always got to throw in some negatives. High interest rates and economic concerns may be near-term headwinds. That's according to Metals Focus. Now, viral chatbot, ChatGPT. Let me just go off. This is so important for you guys, okay? I really believe this from the bottom of my heart. Something you could benefit from. If you have not yet checked out Chat, C-H-A-T, GPT, you need to check it out. If you use Google, right, to do searches on the internet, you can use ChatGPT. It's partly owned by Microsoft. It's legit. You do have to register, like you do with Google or any other online service. It's very simple to do. You got to check out ChatGPT. It's crazy. Watch a couple YouTube. I know you like to watch YouTube. Watch a couple YouTube videos about introduction to ChatGPT. You'll be glad you did because it's artificial intelligence and it can do things that will blow your mind. So this boom in artificial intelligence is real, okay? It has made the generative AI a buzzword this year, fueling a boom in demand for microchips, powering the technology and boosting the stocks of the manufacturers like NVIDIA. You know my thought on that. The whole stock market has been driven by these 7 AI-oriented stocks. To me, I think it's a little bit of BS, bull kapookie, but nonetheless, this AI boom is real. Now, what does that have to do with the price of silver and gold, right? That's what we want to talk about. Let's keep going. Since most components used in conjunction with AI devices are sophisticated, he says, quote, we expect to see widespread support for a range of precious metals bearing components. Expected upside from several applications that are gradually maturing should help support the recovery in the industrial offtake next year, the industrial offtake of the precious metals. Now, when we talk about silver, we aren't going to go down that rabbit hole because I am limited in time tonight, but we know photovoltaic right? The fancy way to say solar panels, electric cars, right? All the massive demand for silver from the industrial sector already, but now we're learning that AI could generate a massive new additional demand source for silver. And again, don't forget, it's so critical for us to remember, right? There's less silver being produced every year. That's a fact, right? We had a deficit last year. We're going to talk about that next, okay? To cope with the evolution of AI algorithms, shipping growth for AI servers, that's the computers, and switches, will rise to double digits over the next few years and stimulates precious metals demand. Demand will rise for platinum alloys used in chip manufacturing, silver, palladium, multi-layer ceramic capacitors. Those are called MLCCs. So, that's a new acronym for us, my fellow basement dwellers. In high-power components, gold bonding wire in chip and memory packages, gold plating in printed circuit boards, and palladium plating on lead frames, it added. So we've got silver, gold, and palladium that are a critical component of this new AI boom, okay? Again, we know already how critical silver is. I don't think we've talked about this for months. Let's review. Silver is the most conductive metal of electricity. Some people like to argue gold, but from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, silver is actually the most conductive metal of electricity. That's why it's so critical in any high tech or any application that's electric or electronic oriented, that demands the highest level of electric conductivity. That's why it's in all those satellites, thousands of satellites orbiting the Earth, right? That's why when the U.S. military builds a high-end, sophisticated weapon system, they use unbelievable amounts of silver. People are just now starting to dig into that because that's a source of demand that no one really pays attention to. And again, we don't want silver to do well on the back of anyone suffering or being hurt in this world. But the reality is that right now, there are a lot of bombs exploding in the world, and a lot of them have a lot of silver in them. Again, I'm going to reiterate. I know you and I, we don't want the metals to do well because of the suffering or pain of anyone. We wish everybody could just get along, and we don't need that. We don't need violence or unfortunate circumstances to unfold for silver and gold to do well. There's enough other really, really critical components. So it's just a very crazy time, crazy market right now, especially for silver. I mean, I want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't have enough time, and a lot of you would say what Suzie always says to me. Repeater Ron. But I'm just so excited about the fact that the fundamentals, supply and demand, there's a lot less supply of silver and it's shrinking every year, and a much higher demand level to me spells one thing, and that's good news for the future of silver holders in particular, but gold, platinum, palladium as well. So when we talk about that, let's review, because this is from 6 months ago. Yeah, I'm bringing you old news, but it's old good news, and it's the fact. Headline, again from Reuters. We are sticking to Reuters tonight, my friends. Record demand pushes silver into a new era of deficits. Okay, if you want to avoid the silver deficit, check out Pimbex. Our sponsor, online bullion dealer, they got silver. It's in stock right now. Who knows 6 months or a year from now? I'm not saying for sure. I'm not trying to be Mr. Fear of missing out or scare you, but the fundamental numbers from a supply-demand perspective could tend to indicate that we might have possibly a little silver shortage sometime in the coming years or at least decade. I could be wrong, but if you do want to get your hands on some silver, Pimbex, Pimbex, I think Pimbex is best. I think if you check them out, you will too. In my book, trustworthiness and best prices and great service. Now, let's get back to the meat here. From Reuters, global demand for silver rose almost 20% in 2022 to a record high of 1.24 billion ounces, creating a huge supply deficit. And the Silver Institute is predicting even more for this year. I wonder what 2023 is going to look like. It's going to be very, very interesting. The silver market was undersupplied by 238 million ounces, the Institute said in its latest World Silver Survey, calling this possibly the most significant deficit on record. It said 2022's undersupply and a 5.5 million shortfall in 2011. I'm sorry, 51. So in 2021, woo, Ron, I need to add some more oxygen to the brain here. 2021, the deficit was 50 million. 2022, it was darn near 250 million. I wonder what 2023 has in store for the silver market. How much more silver was demanded than is being supplied? Okay. The last 2 years deficits had wiped out cumulative surpluses from the previous decade. Wiped out 10 years worth of surpluses in 2 years. And the predicted further undersupply of 140, so they're predicting 142 million this year. It's going to be real interesting to see what the real number is. Quote, we are moving into a different paradigm for the market, one of ongoing deficits, said Philip Newman, a consultant at Metals Focus, which prepared the Silver Institute's data. But he said this wouldn't necessarily cause prices to shoot higher because while visible silver inventories are falling, huge amounts of metal held by individuals and investors can still supply the gaps. So don't think that the price of silver is ever going to go up, guys. What he should have said was because of price manipulation from the COMEX and the LBMA, right? They'll keep the price down. And investors, people like you, people like me, yeah, I've got a little silver. Okay, I do. You probably do too. When the market needs it, we'll just hand it over. We'll help supplement that deficit, right? Wrong. Basement dwellers, we don't sell our silver. Okay, we convert our silver. Maybe when the conversion opportunity is so conducive, so attractive, right? Rafi Farber talks about buying a house for 100 ounces of silver. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I love Rafi Farber. I hope it does. I'd love to buy a little house for 100 ounces of silver. Sign me up, okay? We were just out with the girls. I was looking at a Kia Carnival minivan. You know, I'd love to be able to buy myself a nice Kia Carnival for 50 ounces of silver. Sign me up, baby, okay? But to think that investors are going to be just, tripping over themselves to help supply the silver deficit, I don't think so. I think people that own silver now, the weaklings are gone. The weaklings are gone. I think the people that own silver now, the people like we are, just 1 in 300 people, you know that story. We're holding on, right? I'm not selling. Are you selling? Let me ask you, put it in the chat. Are you selling your silver? Would you sell your silver? Type yes or no. Let's hear from the crowd. I'm just curious. I'm not selling. No. I guess if I'm asking you to do it, I should do it. Hold on. I'm typing right now. So I hope you can see this. No. No. Snakebite says no. CoinChap Chris says no. No. Jim says no. Dr. Jekyll says no. Matt may need to convert for property taxes. Yeah, we might convert, right? I talk about that. Be prepared mentally. That's the thing, okay? I'm telling you, I know that like in our minds, we think, oh, silver could go to triple digits, right? Guys, you got to be prepared mentally with a plan, right? I will tell you one thing, just my opinion. I'm not giving financial advice at all, okay? But what I would be prepared is prepare in your mind. Oh, yeah, silver goes, oh, hallelujah. Oh, remember Schmitty? This old guy. Well, he's getting a lot. I got a few more things to talk about. I got to be quick. Remember Schmitty? The silver bear, right? Silver's going to go to $85, and we're going to take his blindfold off. That would also, I hate to break the news to you, be kind of stressful. Even when like really good, great things like that happen, be prepared that it could be stressful. Have a plan. To me, if I ever decide to convert some of my silver, I would only at the maximum amount do like a third of it. I would convert a third and hope I was wrong. Why would I hope I was wrong for doing that conversion? Because the 2/3 that I remain holding on to, right? Maybe I convert a third and buy some real estate or buy some other type of real asset. But that 2/3 that I hold on to, I want that to keep going up in value, real value as well. I'm not talking about make-believe, fiat, unicorn fart dust. That's basement dwellers, unicorn fart dust. We aren't gonna convert our silver for unicorn fart dust. We're not gonna convert our silver for electronic anything or paper anything. Only would convert for real assets. Okay. Let me make sure there's nothing else I need to touch on here. Okay. Demand. Okay, this is last year. Demand for silver rose to record highs from all major users, jewelers, industry, and buyers of silver bars and coins, according to the Institute. Silver is used in many industries, including electronics and solar panels. Oh, that's news to us, right? But you know what? The average American, the average Australian, the average Mexican, the average anybody, they don't know that. They have no clue that there's silver in their cell phone. They have no clue there's silver in the chips in their refrigerator. They have no clue there's silver in their car. They probably don't even have a clue that their fillings in their mouth are made out of silver. But we know. Nobody talks about dental. Here, there's part of my silver stack. Sorry. Demand is expanding as the world moves away from fossil fuel. It also points out that last year, our friends in India, we love India. India loves precious metals, took in over 30 million ounces. You want to hear something shocking? Okay, I got some shocking, 2 pieces of shocking data. Where is it? Here it is, that I'm going to share with you next about this great U.S. economy. Okay, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. But first, let's say first, you know what? We love our sponsors. We do. But I want to say thank you to you for helping me in this journey that we're on here in Ron's Basement to help grow this channel, this community, right? It is not possible without you. So thank you all for being here. Don't forget, please, give this a thumbs up. That helps us get the word out to more people. It looks like that. It's on your screen. You press it, and then the number of thumbs up go up and up and up. Please press it. Okay. I feel like I'm begging you for that. Also, thank you to our sponsor, First Mining Gold. Right? They are a Canadian gold development company. They got gold in the ground. Coin Shop Chris, I'm going to talk about our video in 1 second. Check out First Mining Gold, FFMGF. If you're interested in a company that has 13 million ounces of gold in the ground in Canada, that's a good jurisdiction, right? You want to stack some stack some gold in Canada in the ground. When you buy shares of First Mining Gold, that's exactly what you're doing. And I think the valuation of the gold in the ground is like, I don't know, $7 or $8 per ounce. Right now, look, there's a lot of work that needs to go on between it being in the ground and being materialized in the mining sector. So there's a ways to go. That's why the gold, but usually that gold, in a good market is valued more like 40 or 50 or 30 or 60 or $100 per ounce. Thank you, Frank, for the super chat. I will only trade tangible assets. Yes. Frank, that is great advice that you shared with the community. Thank you, Snakebite. Yes, wonderful group we have here. I'm over my time limit, and my daughters threatened if I went over 20 minutes, they would come down and shut the lights out on me. So if that happens, I need to say goodbye early, but I'm going to keep going until that happens, right? Or I have to go. Nonetheless, boy, I'm all over the place today. Yes, we only trade tangible assets for tangible assets. That's right. That's real, right? No paper, no nothing else. Snakebite, thank you. You've been a great supporter and a great friend of the channel for many, many, many months. Thank you so much. You want some crazy news about how great the U.S. economy is. Listen to this. This came from an article in FX Empire. Unaffordable housing. This is, I want to see how you feel about this, because this knocked my socks off. Okay. And as you get older, it gets harder to put your socks on. A lot of you guys are my age or a little bit older. It's no fun getting our socks knocked off. Mortgage rates hit 8% for the first time in 23 years. That's not the crazy part. We already knew that. The Housing Affordability Index reached a record low at about 90, whatever that means. Affordability, this is where it gets interesting, is down 50% since 2021 and nearly 70% from the peak in 2012. Americans now need $114,000 in annual income to afford the typical house in the U.S. So if you want to afford the typical United States house, you need $115,000 in income. That's up a massive 90% from $60,000 in 2020. It's crazy. In 2020, you needed to have a family income of $60,000 to afford an average house. Now, just 3 years later, you need to have $114,000. But it gets even better when we look at automobiles. The percentage of subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days past due on their loans rose to 6.11% in September, the highest in data going back to 1994. So remember last week, right? Joe Biden and his little whatever Bureau of Economic Assessment put out the GDP numbers. The economy's booming. Bidenomics is working, baby. Well, economy's up 5%. Well, maybe inflation's up 5%, Joe. I don't know if you factored that into that number, but now, in America, congratulations, it almost takes twice as much money to afford a house as it did 3 years ago. That's a house. That's a basic necessity that families need, is a home, a roof over their head. And now you need to make twice as much money? Oh, yeah, the economy's doing great. Yeah, it's great to be a middle-class American. You're doing all the work, and now it takes twice as much work, essentially, just to put a roof over the head for your family. Way to go, Joe. Bidenomics. And then, look, this is not a political show, but the fact of the matter is that happened under his watch, right? He was president in 2020. Yeah, right? Under his watch. Okay? So I don't buy Bidenomics. I think it's Bidenom tricks, but that's for a different story. And I'm not being political. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but I'm anyway. In auto delinquencies, the worst since 1994. Guys, when the truth hits with what's going on, right? On an individual basis in this country, with people, with the amount of debt they have, people can't make ends meet. People are suffering on a state level, on a government level. Have you heard, right? Have you heard that our government in the coming year has to pay off $16 trillion in debt is coming due, and they're going to have to refinance $16 trillion? Do you know a trillion's a million? Yeah. Do you know the interest rates now that they got to refinance all that debt are like 4 times higher than they were when they issued that debt? Do you know that our country is spending more on interest on the debt that we have than it is on national defense, or probably pretty much anything else? But we're in great shape. No, we're facing a sovereign debt crisis in this country. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody wants to face the music. Our politicians are the last people that want to talk about it. They want to talk about, I don't know what they want to talk about. Crazy crud. Okay? Crazyville. We are in serious doom loop. I'm sorry. I just got to say it that way in this country. Very much likely. I could be wrong. Don't make any financial decisions based on what I'm saying. I just know the numbers. I do have a degree in accounting, so I have a basic financial understanding. And when you look at these numbers, they don't work. It's very scary, and nobody wants to talk about it. Hardly anybody. All right, we'll be prepared. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, I just wanted to hop on. It's Saturday night. Thank you guys so much for everything. We got some fun stuff going on. Don't forget, excuse me, make sure you register for the big giveaway on Black Friday. We have over 20 ounces of silver we're giving away. We're going to do a Christmas Eve giveaway. More and more people. Oh, Coin Shop Chris just threw another virtual ding dong at me. Yep, Coin Shop Chris and I put out a video this afternoon. We had a lot of fun. He razzed me, right? But we covered a lot of ground and we had a good time. If you want to go check that out, go to the channel. It was put out this afternoon, and you can hear from Coin Shop Chris and I simultaneously. That's like double. I know this is single torture. That's like double torture. Can we get to 100 thumbs up? Man, I mean, I'd love to ring the bell. If you haven't given this a thumbs up, please give it a thumbs up. I've told you guys already. We got big .com Don is working on the chat room we're going to have soon for everybody. We got some fun stuff coming up. Thanks for being here. Okay. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.